Ed Blakely has served in different capacities under a succession of presidential administrations, has guided government policy on urban planning, and as a widely cited academic. My name is Sean Britton, and each week Ed and I have a chat about what's the latest news out of the United States, talking everything politics, planning and policy from sea to shining sea. Find us on iTunes, Whooshka, Facebook and Twitter at US of Ed. Big news of the week this week is Trump outlining America's plans going forward in Afghanistan. What do we know so far?
Well, we know that Trump did something that Obama didn't do, which I respect. He's not saying when the U.S. is going to pull out. And when you say when the U.S. is going to pull out, you allow the enemy to sit and wait until the troop numbers are down so they can attack back. This is something the military has been asking for a long time. But it's basically the Obama strategy without announcing a date of withdrawal. And let's put this in context. The United States hasn't won any wars. There are 50,000 American soldiers in Korea that have not left. There are soldiers from the United States still in Europe that have not left. So the U.S. has not won any wars. We have left Vietnam, and the Viet Cong took over. There is apparently the best strategy sometimes is to lose gracefully, and maybe this is the exit route.
Trump himself noted this was a turnaround on earlier positions he'd taken on Afghanistan, a rare moment, I would say, where he actually drew attention to one of his complete turnarounds. He also said, in a turnaround from Obama-era policy, that the military will no longer be interested so much in nation building, but instead killing terrorists. Now, diplomatic officials have been quick to stress to Afghanis that peace talks are still an option. More mixed messages?
Yes. You have to do nation building, but it doesn't have to be done by the military. So they're bringing in private contractors to help with that and to do some of the training. But nation building is essential because you can't withdraw with nothing there, as we did in Iraq, and what a mess that left. So there will be nation building. Tillerson cleaned that up pretty quickly. But the worst thing he said is that we're going to go after Pakistan, an atomic-armed nation. If the U.S. messes too much with Pakistan, Pakistan allows the Taliban to use their territory, or worse yet, the Taliban attack the Pakistan government and destabilize it and then have atomic weapons in their hands. He didn't think that remark through very well at all.
Well, obviously one to keep our eyes on. In spite of all this real news, the so-called fake news around Charlottesville won't go away for Trump after it seemed, he was hesitant to call out Nazis and white nationalists. Now, Trump has held this massive campaign-style rally, I believe, in Phoenix, where he once again claimed his comments were taken out unfairly by the fake news media. What's your take on this big rally that Trump's been holding?
Well, first of all, the fake news was news he made. Everyone in the world saw his comments and his arguments with the press, so I don't think anything was fake about that. He also said there were no demonstrators in Phoenix when the demonstrators were surrounding the building. This man lives in his own bubble. But the worst thing he did was offer a pardon in advance of any kind of sentencing of the ex-sheriff of Maricopa County that surrounds Phoenix, who had violated people's civil rights and was in contempt of court. This is stepping on the judges and justice. Now, if he does this, I'm sure that Sessions will ask him not to, but if he does this, this is another mark against his presidency, which Steve Bannon says is over. He announced that the Trump presidency is over, and now if the establishment announces it's over and the right wing announces it's over, he only has the fascists left.
Well, speaking of fake news and speaking of Steve Bannon, last week, right after we spoke, longtime Trump advisor Steve Bannon, well, long time in the sense that anybody in this administration sticks around for very long, Bannon was made to resign. Now, we spoke about Trump getting more isolated. Bannon was a big connection to the Trump base. What now?
Well, Penn came out, I think it was the day before yesterday, saying that Trump has gone soft. The Afghanistan policy was a poor one. It wasn't the tough go in, knock him out strategy that he had promised. He's backing down on all of his promises. He's not the president we want. And he said, maybe we should work to impeach him. Those are very strong words. He's very isolated. And as, of course, and I think we should talk about this, he's picked on the leader of the House and the Senate.
Absolutely, we should talk about this. Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell. There's sort of been a war of words going on. Firstly, it seemed over Trump's border wall proposal that Mexico was going to pay for, and now it seems Congress is going to pay for unless they want a government shutdown. And there's also been a bit of a war of words over the debt ceiling as well. What have we seen happen?
There has to be a debt ceiling extension in order to keep the U.S. government going. The U.S. government has been for years, since the Bush administration, been borrowing money to keep its operations going. And to do that, you have to raise the debt ceiling, and both houses have to vote for it. Now, it's possible to get this passed in the lower house, but in the Senate, it takes 60 votes. Not 51, but 60. And it's unlikely to survive there. So the members in the lower house will vote for this wall, knowing it'll be blocked in the upper house. And then there'll be a stalemate. And during this stalemate, they'll back off the wall. If they don't back off the wall, and if the president won't sign it, then the U.S. goes into shutdown. Every time the U.S. has gone into shutdown, people blame the sitting congressman. So the Republicans have a lot to lose and nothing to gain by shutting down the Congress.
How do we actually see Speaker Paul Ryan and the Majority Leader Mitch McConnell fighting back against Trump?
Well, there are two ways they're doing this. One of them is they are crafting the legislation themselves and leaving him out. They've learned his involvement really kills the deal. The second thing is Ryan is running for president. He make most mistake about it. He had a CNN national forum in which he looked like the president of tomorrow. He almost sounded like Obama with all the stuff he was offering up, saying he would let immigrants in and that the president was not being presidential, etc. In the upper house, they're going to use the investigations. They're solidly on the side of Mueller, and they're going to use the investigative strategies to bring out as much dirt on the Trump campaign as possible. And there are members in the Senate, several, who are talking out openly in defiance of Trump. So Trump is isolated from the Congress, he's isolated from the Republican Party, and now he's isolated from his megaphone base, Breitbart. This man is in deep trouble, and there are several articles that have been published this week with timelines on them. The furthest one that goes out is 3 months. He's done.
Ed and I will be back next week to talk the latest on American news and politics. Subscribe on iTunes and Whooshka to stay up to date, and show us some love on Facebook and Twitter at US of Ed.